Oh, we're back. We're so back. Those words from my longtime friend John aren't just a throwaway line. They're a cry for Battlefield's resurrection. After the disaster of Battlefield 2042, which saw the franchise at its lowest point, our squad thought we'd left large-scale multiplayer shooters behind for good. John's return to the scene wasn't just personal, it was symbolic. Where he once dove into hyper-competitive shooters like Counter-Strike, and I chased objective-based spectacles, Battlefield 6 became our unexpected reunion point. And we weren't the only ones. Suddenly, our Discord was filled with gamers from every background, rediscovering why they fell in love with the Battlefield series in the first place. This community revival has been the game's most remarkable achievement. The gunplay is tight, maps feature an impressive sense of scale and verticality, and the new breakthrough mode is high-octane brain fuel. But what truly elevates the experience is the vibrant community buzzing around the Battlefield ecosystem. Don't get me wrong, my first few matches weren't love at first sight. Sparse vehicles, limited conquest maps, and a user interface that looks like it was designed by an unpaid intern had me questioning my $76 purchase. But I had to take a step back and remind myself the core experience is still here, and this is a franchise that continues to separate itself from other shooters in ways that matter. One coordinated squad can completely turn a match on its head. You can still flatten an entire building on a group of unsuspecting enemies, focus on tank repairs or revive runs while still topping the leaderboard, get rewarded for playing the objective, and you can still create those magical moments, spontaneous fun that only Battlefield delivers. In reality, when facing the new onslaught of Call of Duty converts, someone trying to 360 no-scope me while bunny hopping around doesn't stand a chance. Battlefield 6 remains skill over style. And I hate to be the one to tell you this. If you're the one losing those matchups, you just got to get good. And upgrade your weapons, which we'll talk about a bit later. Trust me, I've lost my fair share of duels too, and been so low on the scoreboard you'd forget I was even in the match. But every death was entirely my own fault. For longtime fans, there are a few controversial changes to digest. The most striking from the outset, no more weapon class restrictions. I was slightly skeptical of this addition during the beta, and you're still given the choice to join a closed weapon server. But ever since the full release, I can't go back. Many weapons lack a distinct identity and require specific attachments to become competitive. It doesn't make sense to run a raw SMG on an engineer when a well-equipped M4A1 is already in my arsenal. This new system makes me choose a class for its unique perks and equipment, not just its primary weapon. I still need to switch to engineer to take out a tank or swap to medic to support my team. For me, the gameplay math continues to check out. I can already see the comments brewing. Bring on the feedback. And hey, if you're going to type away, might as well hit subscribe while you're down there. It really helps me out. All right, with this in mind, my name is Paul, this is Load and Behold, and let's take a closer look at Battlefield 6 2 weeks after launch, starting with something I never thought I'd say. Conquest is taking a backseat. Maybe this is due to my breakthrough-focused Discord, my growing distaste for Liberation Peak and Conquest, or maybe it's because I'm realizing something fundamental. While Conquest has you fighting for regions of a map, Breakthrough demands your attention for every single inch you claw away from the enemy. The medic role is amplified in this mode too. I'm reviving teammates like I'm running a Battlefield resurrection service, rows of mannequins suddenly springing back to life. The adrenaline never stops, and I'm never questioning my role in bringing the team to victory. Call me a heretic. Conquest is the mode that originally got me into Battlefield, but that was a lifetime ago. A lot has changed in the multiplayer gaming landscape, and I'm still allergic to those smaller scale battles like Domination or Team Deathmatch. Rush is something I need to spend more time with before giving a final judgment though, but what I really keep craving is the grand, cinematic scale of Battlefield. Those moments you can't wait to share with friends and family. And right now, Breakthrough is delivering those in spades. Despite running a lower player count of 48 compared to the usual 64-player modes, it feels more intense than Conquest, because everyone is laser focused on one or two critical points. Take Siege of Cairo, currently my favorite map. You're navigating a living, breathing urban war zone, weaving through narrow, war-torn streets. Every corner is a tense moment before the bullets start flying. The verticality and density are unreal, and to those players comparing the square footage to previous entries' maps, you're missing the point. This isn't about 2D space anymore. It's layered, dynamic urban combat. Tanks on Siege of Cairo perfectly illustrate this new design philosophy too. Roll down the street with unskilled bravado, and you'll be obliterated by landmines. But once you start observing high points, exploring alleyways, suddenly you'll unlock what makes this game mode and this entire Battlefield entry truly special. There's another controversial change that I wanted to discuss though, and it's the new movement system. The fluidity upgrade here amplifies the intensity, and even though I think some will see this as the Call of Dutyifying of the Battlefield experience, in practice that's not how it plays out. This is still a skill over style shooter, and anyone hopping and sliding around can be killed just as easily as the rest. The ability to combat roll, to avoid damage after jumping out of a second-story building, to drag and revive your teammate, is an addition that feels like a natural building block of the formula. It makes my moveset feel telegraphed, and so I celebrate it. With great advancements come great responsibility, and sometimes Battlefield 6 feels like it's fighting against its own potential. Like when your sledgehammer can't knock down a wall, or when you're snagged on an unknown object. Or, again, the aforementioned drag and revive system doesn't always work how you think it should, or when large tank shells seem to barely damage enemy infantry. There are simple oversights too. The world lighting has too much contrast, and while lowering the world brightness does help a little, from the outside looking in, interiors are black, and from the inside looking out, the sky can appear nearly pure white. This isn't helped by the fact that all game modes and maps lack diverse weather. Let's also be direct. The user interface is downright atrocious. I've never seen a screen space so cluttered, yet so lacking in actual useful information. This applies to the menus as much as the in-game HUD. That's not to mention the end of match screen, which instead of showing you what you unlock, hits you with slot machine dopamine. This is extended into weapon customization too. It's easy to see base stat changes, but many of the foregrips, for example, change weapon draw speed, gun sight accuracy while moving, and a few more things that aren't clearly reflected or highlighted beyond a small text description, only visible when you're looking at the part itself. The larger problem, though, is that every naked weapon feels like an uncontrollable squirt gun until you get some attachments. It makes weapon progression feel awkward and doesn't inspire me to change up my choices. And if you hope to unlock weapons and gear behind challenges, forget it. It feels like all of them are written by an AI that doesn't have knowledge of the Battlefield universe, all while setting impossible performance expectations. I also think if you're picking up Battlefield 6 and only queuing Conquest, you might be disappointed. One of the premier maps on offer, Liberation Peak, feels like it was designed for breakthrough first, then poorly adapted for Conquest. The layout is awkward, and air support feels cramped. The other maps in this mode are an improvement, but one of them is a return from Battlefield 3, which feels a bit lazy, even though it's a welcome return. My resistance towards Conquest sparks an uncomfortable question. Are the developers intentionally sidelining large-scale game modes? Take Escalation, a 64-player mode that sounds like a brilliant concept on paper. It attempts to merge Conquest and Breakthrough by having teams score points while holding map flags, then progressively removing control points to funnel the battlefield. But here's the reality. It's a mode caught in no man's land. Instead of creating a revolutionary hybrid experience, it ends up feeling like a compromise that satisfies neither Conquest purists nor Breakthrough enthusiasts. You might think my laundry list of complaints would have me cautiously recommending Battlefield 6, but the truth is more nuanced. For die-hard Conquest players, I'd say wait for more content. For everyone else, though, this new Battlefield continues the series' cinematic legacy while significantly upgrading the core infantry experience. Battlefield 3 and 4 are natural touchstones, and the developers are walking a razor-thin line. They're simultaneously trying to attract serial Call of Duty players while reigniting the passion that made Battlefield a legendary franchise. At its best, the game presents like an athlete in their prime. At its worst, it's risking alienating the old guard who've ignored modes like Team Deathmatch and Domination. That's me too, by the way. Remember how the previous Battlefield entries transformed over time, though? Sure, improvements are needed here, but the dev team has been responsive, making changes based on player feedback since launch. I genuinely believe we're not just playing a game, we're collaboratively building the best Battlefield yet. In the meantime, drop your Battlefield 6 experiences in the comments, and thanks for watching.